To the 24 hours to 8 p.m. last night, we had 78 cases of community transmission. So it's always pleasing when you see a drop in those numbers, but we still had about 27 people who are infectious in the community out of those cases, and that's the number we really want to bring down. Again, the main place where people are unfortunately either getting the virus or giving the virus is in workplaces. And that's why we had to take some of those difficult decisions we had to. We're still seeing a number of cases coming all across Greater Sydney, not just in those 3 LGAs that we've highlighted. But then, unfortunately, people unknowingly might get the virus and then take it home to their families. And if you have a large family in the household, because of how contagious this virus is, it really means everybody in that household is going to get it. And what we're also seeing is younger people getting it because of that phenomena. And I just want to really stress to people, all of us have to be on our guard. We know there are various venues of concern all throughout Greater Sydney, but in particular those 3 local government areas are still representing more than 2/3 of all the cases, and that's why the focus remains in those communities. Can I also please give a shout out to everybody working in Service New South Wales. Yesterday, whilst the system had some challenges in the morning, by the end of the day, nearly 6,000 businesses had their applications processed for support. And my message here is, please do not undergo any additional stress to what you're already going through. There is assistance for businesses. Go to Service New South Wales. And if you're an individual worker who wants that help and that support, please go to Services Australia. We're making sure that on the Services New South Wales website, all that information is available. You can ring up and get information. You can still go into a Service New South Wales centre as well, although we're trying to reduce mobility and we do prefer people to ring or check up online. But if you must go in, you can, but make sure you're COVID safe. And we just want to encourage everybody to make sure they're aware of what assistance they can have and what support they can have to support them during this time. Now, I'm convinced that if all of us work together and focus on those key areas that are of concern, namely workplaces and households where the transmission is happening or the virus is spreading, we will get through this. And I just want to stress to everybody, no matter what you do and where you live, if you must go to work, please make sure you think about your situation. Have you been tested? If you have symptoms, you shouldn't be going to work. And if you don't have symptoms and you live in the Fairfield area in particular, make sure you get tested every 3 days before you go to work. That is really providing enormous benefits to us in capturing cases which otherwise may have been undetected, and we're very, very grateful that that's occurring. But all of us have to focus on workplaces and our households. That's the 2 main areas of concern and why the government had to take those additional difficult decisions last week. And we are hoping that by the end of this week, we certainly see the benefit of those more difficult decisions. But I do want to stress that the government is also working very hard with our communities to make sure people can go back to work safely after July 30, and we will be having more to say about that in the coming days. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for your efforts. It is making a difference. That 78 number would have been much, much higher had people not been doing the right thing. And we just need everybody to stick with it, to make sure that you protect you and your family and your work colleagues in particular. And please know that from tomorrow there are harsh penalties in place for employers forcing their employees into the work sites unless they're absolutely necessary. And that's really an important tool for us to make sure that employees aren't forced out of their homes if they can safely do their work from home.